Hello dear students, I welcome you all for our today's digital class. Can you recall students what is Dalton's atomic theory? We have studied it in our previous class. Yes, Dalton was the first scientist who said that atoms are the indivisible particles of elements. In his theory, he said that all matter is made up of atoms which are indivisible. The second part of the theory says that all the atoms in a given element are identical in mass and properties. So his theory states that all matter is made up of atoms. Atoms are indivisible and indestructible. Compounds are formed by combination of two or more different kind of atoms, and a chemical reaction is a rearrangement of atoms. Now see children, here you all can see the atom is there and nucleus is there in between, where neutrons and protons are there, and electrons are revolving in the orbit. Okay, so atom is made up of two parts, extranuclear part and a nuclear part. The extranuclear part has electrons, and the internuclear part there are protons and neutrons. Now about this we are going to study more in detail. Now how are the compounds formed? We have studied in a previous chapter that when two or more elements they combine, when they take or share or give away electrons, they form a bond and a new compound is formed. Like for example, sodium, it is a shiny soft metal. Chlorine is a poisonous gas. They combine to form a table salt, sodium chloride, which is normally eaten by every one of us. It is an important part of our diet. Now do you remember the molecular formula of the following elements, following compounds? Common salt NaCl, slaked lime CaOH twice, water H2O, limestone CaCO3. Now there are many different molecular formula which we have studied in our previous lessons. Now here we are going to study how a molecular formula is formed. Now let us see these two activities. We are taking 56 gram of calcium oxide in a large conical flask and 18 gram of water is added in it. Now what happens? What we see when calcium oxide is put in a conical flask? Yes, what similarity do you find? Is it going to mix in it? Calcium oxide? Yes, you will observe it. For experiment you can refer the Diksha app link which I am going to send it to you. Now let us see the second activity. Take a solution of calcium chloride in a conical flask and a solution of sodium sulfate in a test tube. Tie a thread to the test tube and insert it in the conical flask. See, we are putting that test tube in the conical flask. We seal the conical flask in an airtight container with a rubber cork. Weigh mass of the conical flask using a balance. Now tilt the conical flask so that the solution in the test tube gets poured in the conical flask. Now weigh mass of the conical flask again. Now what change do you notice? We see that is there any change in the mass? Yes, there is a change in the mass. Do we see? 300.23 gram and here also 300.23 gram. Now what we have done? We have mixed calcium chloride and sodium sulfate and together we have taken the weight. So we don't see any changes in the mass. Now law of conservation of matter. In the above two activities, the mass of the original matter and the mass of the matter newly formed is as the result of the chemical changes are equal. Now do you see in the figure again 4.1, the mass previously it was 300.23 gram and again when the substances are mixed together the mass is recorded and they both are equal. In 1785, the French scientist Antonio Lavoisier inferred from his research that there is no rise or drop in the mass of the matter during the chemical reaction. In the chemical reaction, the total mass of the reactants is same as the total mass of the products formed due to the chemical reaction. In this, it is called as law of conservation of matter. In 1794, the French scientist J.L. Proust stated that the law of constant proportion as the proportion by mass of the constituent elements in different sample of a compound is fixed. Like suppose I have given you the example of tea. When we took the lecture, I had given you the example of tea. Suppose if you are going to make tea, half cup of water, half cup of milk, and then you are going to add the ingredients as sugar and salt. When you get the product tea, the constituents is going to be the same. The compound is going to be the fixed. Like it is not going to change. Okay. Atoms combine in whole number ratios, so their proportion by mass will always be the same. Like for example, take water. Water is always made up of 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. The ratio of oxygen to H in water is always 16.2 or 8:1 or 16:2. Now let us study about the atom. The atom, protons and neutrons are present in the nucleus, and electrons which are negatively charged, they move around the nucleus in the orbit. Protons are positively charged, neutron they don't have any charge, and electron they have negative charge. Now can you see in the picture, students? We have learned that the center of an atom is the nucleus, and there are many moving electrons in the extranuclear part. We saw it in our last 2 slides. The electrons are negatively charged elementary particles, while elementary particles that makes up the nucleus are positively charged protons and electrically neutral neutrons. The size of the atom is determined by its radius. The atomic radius of an isolated atom is the distance between the nucleus of an atom and its outermost orbit. Atomic radius is expressed in nanometers. Now in the picture you can see the field ion microscope image of iridium atoms. Now see how atom is already very small, and this image is taken by an electron microscope. Now atoms are very tiny. Modern instruments like electron microscope, field ion microscope, scanning tunneling microscope enlarge images of the atom. Now let us study about the mass of an atom. The mass of an atom is concentrated in its nucleus and due to the protons and electrons and neutrons in it. The total number of protons or neutrons are called as the atomic mass number. Means inside the nucleus you had seen the protons and the neutrons. So the total mass of the neutron, the total number of protons and neutrons together we call it as atomic mass number. Protons and neutrons are together called as nucleons. An atom is very tiny. So how are we going to determine its mass? The scientists, they found it very difficult to calculate the mass of an atom. Therefore, the concept of relative mass of an atom was put forth. Now, a reference atom was taken. A reference atom was taken as hydrogen atoms. Means every atom, every element's atom was compared to hydrogen. Every element's atom was compared to hydrogen. So, hydrogen was taken as the reference atom. The relative mass of hydrogen atom, which has only 1 proton in its nucleus, was accepted as 1. Therefore, the magnitude of the relative atomic masses of various atoms became equal to their atomic mass number, that is P plus N, that is proton plus neutron. Now let us see how to express the relative mass of nitrogen atom having accepted the relative mass, atomic mass of hydrogen as 1. Now nitrogen has 14. What is the quantity of electrons in nitrogen atom? It is 14. 14 times that of hydrogen atom. Therefore, the relative mass of nitrogen is 14. Now here what happens is, what we are going to calculate, the way we are going to calculate is, on this scale the relative atomic masses of many elements came out to be fractional. Therefore, in the course of time some other methods were chosen. Finally, in 1961, the carbon atom was selected as the reference atom. In this scale, the relative mass a carbon atom was accepted as 12. The relative atomic mass of one hydrogen atom compared with carbon atom becomes 12 multiplied by 1 upon 12, that is equal to 1. The mass of one proton and one neutron on the scale of relative atomic mass is approximately 1. So you can see in the chart given below, hydrogen atomic mass is 1, helium 4, lithium 7, beryllium 9 and so on. Oxygen it is 16, sodium magnesium, aluminum, and so on it is given. Okay, so when I am going to send you the worksheet, I will be sending you the atomic masses of all the elements and you have to by heart it. Now today we have highly accurate methods for measuring the mass of atom directly. Hence, instead of relative mass, unified mass has now been accepted as the unit of atomic mass. It is called as Dalton. Its symbol is small u. Okay, and it is written as 1 mu. It is called as mu is equal to 1.6605391. Okay, so this is the Dalton. It is called as Dalton. Now, how is an element represented in chemistry? Okay, X is the element. Take it as, for example, carbon. Chemical symbol is written there. Mass number is A is equal to Z plus N. Atomic number is number of protons. So always it is written as C12(6). 6 is the atomic number and 12 is the atomic mass number. Dalton used certain signs to represent the elements. For example, hydrogen and copper were given in that way. Now today we are using some symbols determined by the IUPAC system, that is the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. These are official names and symbols and are used all over the world, that is hydrogen H, helium He. Okay, so these are the symbols given. The current method of choosing chemical symbols is based on the method invented by Berzelius. According to this method, the symbol of an element is either the first letter or the first and the second another specific letter in its name. Of the two letters, the first is written as capital letter and the second is written as the small letter. So carbon we write C, oxygen O, nitrogen N, aluminium Al, sodium Na, magnesium Mg. So in this way the element symbols are written. Molecules of elements and compounds. Atoms of some elements such as helium, neon have independent existence. It means that these elements are monoatomic molecular state. Sometimes two or more atoms of an element combine to form molecules of that element. Such elements are in the polyatomic molecular state. Means helium we are going to write it only as He. Okay, normally we write it as He. Neon is written as Ne. Hydrogen is written as H. But some elements they are exist in polyatomic state. Okay, diatomic. So O is written as O2. N is written as N2. When atoms of different elements combine with each other, the molecules of compounds are formed. In other words, compounds are formed by chemical attraction between different elements. So here we end with our first video. What have we studied in this video? What is Dalton's atomic theory? How are the compounds formed? What are the molecular formulae? Law of conservation of matter, atom, mass of an atom, how elements is represented in chemistry, the IUPAC naming system, and molecules of elements and compounds. You all will read the lesson very thoroughly, listen to the video, and I will be sending you the question answers, and when we meet on our online lecture, again this lesson will be taken as a revision. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.